while the dinner time, we sang the song, and then the new Japanese council visited our church before the last week, visited our church, and then we practiced together. And then at that time, I talked about our church history, the Holy Cross Church and Ascension Church in Japanese Canadian Church were sold by church, and then I explained about our plan, and so please come to our church Holy Cross Day, September 15. And then at that time, the new council name is Okada. He said he emphasized our church history because the building. I show you this building. This residence also was sold Canadian government. So 1949 something. And then after that, 1956, the building was saved. So the Japanese government bought this building again. And so Vancouver Heritage and then Japanese Council invited people to their dinner, and then there's kind of instrument playing the koto, shakuhachi, singing song, and so I have a chance to do that. And during their dinner time, there was a Japanese tea ceremony. Have you been to the Japanese tea ceremony before?
Many years ago, we had a flower festival, and we had a tea ceremony in the garden.
Oh yeah. Yes, I hope we will have the Japanese tea ceremony one time through the nice this season, okay? And so it is outside, and then it reminds me the Japanese tea ceremony reminds me something. And I'm gonna what the Japanese tea ceremony reminds me is one of the scene of the picture on bulletin. And could you the lady tried to get into it is the gate of the tea room. And could you imagine about that? So when former Japanese traditional tea ceremony, there's a room, and then the gate is small, so people have to bend in and get inside. So and it's so long time ago, Japanese army, the shogun and general, they carry an armor knife, samurai knife. But when they were going to the tea ceremony, they had to took off everything to get into. And then it's kind of some people say the Japanese tea ceremony affected by church ceremony. It's Eucharist. And the teacher of the name of the Rikyu, and he was the salesman in Sakai, Osaka, and there are a lot of the missionary were there, and then they talk about the thing. So it's there's kind of the region. It's a story. The great teacher of the tea ceremony could be a Christian or affected Christianity this small gate reminds us the Bible. It's the same Matthew. Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. So through the tea ceremony in Japanese, tea ceremony is kind of reminds us humbleness, and the humbleness is also serving. The main thing of tea ceremony, Japanese tea ceremony, is serving to people. So serving makes our life more alive. So just I reviewed the last Sunday's Bible story, and then today. Today's gospel is Jesus went to the town. The name is Nain, and he saw the funeral. He saw the funeral, and in the Bible said, as he approached the gate of the town, a man who had died was being carried out. He was his mother's only son, and she was a widow, and with her was a large crowd from the town. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion for her and said to her, "Do not weep." Then he came forward and touched the bier, and the bearers stood still, and he said, "Young man, I say to you, rise." So there's a bier, and there are people carrying their young man's body, and Jesus had compassion of her mother especially, and then what he did, he touched the young man's dead body. At that time, to touch the who died, it means he became unclean. Bible said it's who touched the dead or dead thing, he will be unclean for 7 days. So people surprised. Jesus touched it, and then Jesus said, "Young man, rise up." Could you imagine about that? And then during the story, I meditate by myself. What I have to listen from Lord, young man, rise up. I mean, what we have, the dead thing inside in our life. It is a kind of word to give you, find out something. What you need, ask from Jesus. Young man, rise up. It's inside you, deep inside. For example, our church was dead. And 3 years ago, our church history come out, and then it's like this church raised up, young men raised up. And then through this year, the story, our church story, goes to the whole Canadian. Also, it goes to United States too, United States Church too. So historically, the Japanese Canadian church was sold by the diocese, but it was the diocese said story about that. And now the church rise up. Also, each one of us, something inside or in our life, there's kind of thing buried. And then we need weeping about our their situation, but Jesus asked us, rise up, young man. Not we are not old men, young men. Why we are called like that? Because we called from God to serve one another. Yesterday there was another dinner. I went to another dinner. It's the Tonari Gumi and the JCCA Association 40 years and 60 years anniversary. And so there was a man was mentioned whose name is Hamada Jun. He is our Holy Cross Church member. And then the other, some four people were called. And then the Tonari Gumi is to serve the people who had a block to lead this country, especially language, cultural thing. So Tonari Gumi to serve. And the JCCA, Japanese Canadian Association, also it is a meeting to serve each other. So our church and want us to pour from Jesus, raise up, and to serve each other. Don't forget our purpose of the life, to serve one another. Even we are still small, or so it doesn't matter. We try to serve one another, like our church established 110 years ago in Vancouver. So we try to serve each other. 先ほど